Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we're going to unpack something really special. It's a deeply contemplative, honestly almost poetic series of aphorisms by Oluyomi Oladevid. Her work, titled Poverty, Purity, and Purpose, well, it's definitely not your standard dry academic text. Instead, it's this incredible collection of really sharp philosophical insights that connect our everyday, deeply personal habits to massive global outcomes. So we're going to break down these profound thoughts together and truly understand how she maps out the human experience. Let's dive in.
All right, here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll meet Oyomi Oladevid. Then, we'll decode her three distinct pillars of transformation: the roots of poverty, the power of purity, and defining true purpose.
To truly grasp these insights, we really got to look at the woman behind the words, right? We need to understand the lens through which she views the world. Oluyomi Oladevid operates at this fascinating intersection of personal philosophy and global strategy. And honestly, knowing her background is the key that unlocks the deeper meaning behind her short, impactful statements.
She is proudly Nigerian, and you can just feel her profound love for people and her deep, deep concern for global development. She isn't just sitting in a room theorizing. She's an active participant in generating real solutions and influencing macro-level policy. Plus, she explicitly grounds her entire worldview in her faith. She states very clearly her belief that her Father God owns and rules the universe. This spiritual yet incredibly human-centric foundation is exactly what drives the insights we're about to explore. Okay, pillar number 1, the roots of poverty, beyond the financial. In her writings, she doesn't treat poverty just as a lack of money. She frames it as a highly dangerous condition of the mind, something deeply rooted in our daily habits.
Now, look at this quote: "Slack courts poverty." I mean, wow. It's really interesting how she immediately connects a lack of discipline, what she calls slack, directly to the onset of poverty. Think about what it means to court something. It means to actively invite it, to romance it. She's telling us that laziness or cutting corners, well, it isn't just a harmless little flaw. It is a literal, active invitation for poverty to just walk right into your life.
And here she brilliantly illustrates how those personal failures scale up. She takes us right from the individual to the macro level, suggesting that fractured foundations, these broken walls, inevitably threaten entire nations. If we, as individuals, are courting poverty through our slack, the collective wall of our society begins to crumble. It endangers global development as a whole. It's like a massive domino effect. Notice the incredibly sharp contrast she creates here. On one side, we have the cost of inaction. Incompetence snores chance away. That is such a vivid image, isn't it? Someone practically snoring, just sleeping right through their own golden opportunities. But on the other side, she presents the value of character. Virtue is evergreen. So while incompetence totally misses the moment, she asserts that true virtue remains this permanent, living asset. It never loses its value, no matter the season. So, the crucial takeaway she makes here is that mental hesitation and a lack of internal clarity are active snares. Doubt holds a trap. It literally paralyzes your ability to take action. When you combine that doubt with incompetence and slack, you're basically paving a direct pathway to poverty. And she means that spiritually and structurally, not just financially. Let's shift gears to our second theme, the power of purity, moral clarity as a compass. She presents purity not just as some abstract religious concept, but as a highly practical, necessary antidote to the exact decay we just talked about.
And this is the million-dollar question. If doubt and slack are traps that lead to poverty, how exactly does purity provide the escape route? Well, she answers this by shifting our focus completely away from societal decay, and instead points us toward the unshakable strength of personal integrity.
She explains this so beautifully with the phrase, "Goodness retains savor." Think about what gives your favorite food its flavor. The salt, the spices. If they lose their savor, they're completely useless. She's saying that true goodness, that purity of character, never loses its essential value or its flavor. No matter what crazy external circumstances pop up or how much time passes, it always remains effective. I absolutely love the gritty realism of this thought. She openly acknowledges how harsh the world is. Greed may own the street. She is not naive. She knows full well that corrupt, selfish motives often seem to dominate our public spaces and our economies. But, right next to that, she firmly insists that purity inclines right. Even when you're completely surrounded by greed, a pure character will naturally, almost magnetically, lean toward what is correct and what is just.
Using this highly visual architectural imagery, she points out that perfect stone is seamless. True perfection and purity, they have no cracks, no hidden divisions, no structural flaws. When you are building your life, or as we discussed earlier, building the walls of a nation, you need seamless, uncompromised materials. Purity is that perfect stone.
Here, she just actively dismisses all those false pursuits. She writes that idols are worthless, meaning that chasing after hollow societal obsessions is going to offer you absolutely zero structural support. In total contrast, she establishes that a cornerstone is standard. You need a reliable, immovable standard, a cornerstone of purity and faith, to build absolutely anything of lasting value. All right, bringing us to her final pillar, defining true purpose, taking territory. We've seen the trap of poverty, we've seen the standard of purity. Now let's explore how she believes we actually activate this purity to find our true, actionable purpose out in the real world.
She introduces this with this fantastic piece of mathematical poetry. Integer wins majority of 1. Now, an integer, by definition, is a whole number. It's not a fraction, it's not divided up. She's suggesting that being whole, being undivided, and being resolutely pure in your personal purpose is a massive victory all by itself. When you're entirely unified in your convictions, you become a powerful majority of 1. How great is that?
Let's see how this builds into the broader world. Scale has a fit. She's reminding us that finding our purpose requires identifying our specific, appropriate place in the grand design. You don't have to be everything to everyone. Your unique scale, your specific talents and domain, they perfectly fit into a much larger puzzle of global transformation. Here we see one of her most vivid contrasts between mere consumption and true purpose. Bears care for lamb chops, meaning some people live solely to consume. They only care about what they can devour for themselves. But in contrast, lions pounce on territory. True leadership and purpose isn't about what you can eat, it's about actively claiming, governing, and taking real responsibility for your assigned space in the world. And she scales this individual sense of purpose right back up to the macro level. Cities influence peace. When lions take their territory, when individuals operate as those undivided integers and build with that seamless stone we talked about, they create organized, purposeful communities. And these cities, in turn, become the true drivers and influencers of global peace. She concludes her profound thoughts with this genuinely beautiful statement: blessing releases grace. It indicates that when you finally align yourself, when you step away from the slack that courts poverty, when you embrace the perfection of purity and you take your rightful territory, you are operating in your true purpose. And doing that naturally unlocks divine grace and blessing, not just for yourself, but for your entire community. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a direct challenge inspired by Oluyomi Oladevid's incredible words. How will you apply these principles to influence your own territory today? Will you finally eliminate the slack in your habits? Will you choose to be that seamless stone of purity? Because your territory is out there, just waiting for you to claim it. Thank you so much for learning with us today. Now take these insights, get out there, and build something lasting.